If only I could fix marriages with a new breaker. That's what I'm thinking at 3 in the morning, crouched in front of our kitchen outlet with a voltage tester in one hand and a screwdriver in the other. The GFCI's been tripping all week, and Nora keeps complaining that her coffee maker shuts off mid-brew. Simple fix, really. Faulty wiring behind the outlet, probably installed by some weekend warrior who thought he knew what he was doing. Unlike some people, I actually know my trade. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Grant Hollister, commercial electrician, 23 years running current through this god-forsaken city on the Maine, New Hampshire border. I can wire a 50-story office building or troubleshoot a residential panel in my sleep. What I can't do, apparently, is keep my wife from stumbling through our front door at 3 a.m., giggling like a teenager and reeking of cologne that sure as hell isn't mine. Grant? Nora's voice carries that particular pitch it gets when she's been drinking. Not drunk, just loose enough to forget she's supposed to be working late at another client dinner. She kicks off her heels in the hallway, and I hear her fumble with the coat closet. "In here," I call, not looking up from the outlet. The neutral wire's burnt at the connection point. Sloppy work. "Just fixing your coffee situation." She appears in the kitchen doorway, and I finally glance up. Her black dress is wrinkled in all the wrong places, the kind of creases you get from sitting too close to someone for too long. Her lipstick's gone, but there's a faint red smudge on her collar. Her hair, which she spent 40 minutes perfecting this morning, looks like she's been running her hands through it. Or someone else has. "You didn't have to wait up," she says, leaning against the doorframe with studied casualness. "Wasn't waiting. Outlet was sparking." I twist the wire nuts tight and fold the wires back into the box. "How was dinner with the Henderson account?" She pauses, just a beat too long. "Fine. You know how these corporate types are. Everything has to be perfect, every detail discussed endlessly." Must have been quite a discussion. It's past 3. We went for drinks after. Team building. She's already moving toward the bedroom, but she stumbles slightly, catches herself on the counter. Her purse slides off her shoulder, spilling contents across the granite. Breath mints, lipstick, her phone, and something else that makes my stomach clench. A hotel keycard. She scrambles to collect everything, shoving it all back in the purse with the frantic efficiency of someone who knows they've messed up. "Long day tomorrow," she says, not meeting my eyes. I should get some sleep. I watch her disappear down the hallway, listen to the bedroom door close with the soft click of someone trying not to make noise. The hotel keycard image burns behind my eyelids, the Riverside Inn. I drive past it every day on my way to job sites. Fancy place, the kind where event planners take their most important clients, or their bosses. I finish installing the outlet cover, test the GFCI button. Perfect. The little light glows steady green, no more tripping, no more problems. If only everything else was that simple. Back in the living room, I settle into my recliner with a beer and stare at the blank TV screen. Nora's laptop sits open on the coffee table, still logged into her email. She always forgets to close it, one of those little habits that used to be endearing. Now it feels like an invitation. I shouldn't look. I know I shouldn't look. But that hotel keycard keeps flashing in my mind. And her story about the Henderson account has more holes than a junction box after a house fire. Her email syncs with her phone, I know that much. All those notifications she gets, the little dings that interrupt our conversations more and more lately. I lean forward, scroll through her recent messages. There it is. Calder Brandt, her boss at Pinnacle Events, the smooth-talking corporate shark who hired her 6 months ago. The emails start professional enough, but as I scroll down, they get more personal, more frequent, more intimate. "Can't wait to see you tonight, usual place. C. Last night was incredible. You're incredible. C. Tell Grant you're working late again. I've got plans for you. C. My hands shake as I scroll further. Months of this, months of lies, of client dinners and overtime and team-building exercises. All carefully crafted bullshit while she's been screwing her boss. The most recent exchange is from this afternoon. Nora, Grant's getting suspicious. Maybe we should cool it for a while. Calder, don't worry about Grant. He's just some blue-collar guy who fixes lights. You're destined for bigger things. Better things. Nora, I know, it's just complicated. Calder, nothing complicated about it. You could learn a lot from me about what you really deserve. I close the laptop before I put my fist through the screen. Some blue-collar guy who fixes lights. 23 years I've been perfecting my craft. 23 years of crawling through attics and basements, of troubleshooting complex electrical systems that keep this whole damn city running. I've wired hospitals and schools, office buildings and factories. I've saved companies millions in downtime, prevented fires, kept the lights on when everyone else went home. And to Calder Brandt, I'm just some guy who fixes lights. I drain my beer, crush the can in my fist. The aluminum crumples with a satisfying crunch, but it doesn't make me feel any better. From the bedroom comes the sound of Nora's phone buzzing. A text message, probably from her lover, probably something sweet and romantic to help her sleep off the guilt of lying to her husband's face. I sit in the dark living room, surrounded by the home we built together, the life we planned, the future we mapped out in careful detail, all of it based on trust, on partnership, on the fundamental belief that we were on the same team. Turns out I was the only one playing by those rules. The outlet I just fixed glows softly in the kitchen, steady and reliable. No more sparking, no more tripping the breaker. Too bad marriages don't come with reset buttons and simple solutions. But maybe, just maybe, it's time to cut the power entirely. I get up, walk to our bedroom, and quietly pack a bag while Nora sleeps off her evening of betrayal. I clean out our joint checking account, every penny I've earned, plus half of what she's contributed. Fair is fair. Then I sit at the kitchen table and write her a note. Nora, you could learn a lot from me about what you really deserve. Good luck explaining this to Calder. Grant P.S. The outlet's fixed. You're welcome. I leave the note on the coffee table, right next to her laptop. Let her figure out how much I know. Let her panic. Let her call Calder and explain why her husband just disappeared in the middle of the night. As I load my truck, I take one last look at our apartment. 3 years we've lived here, building something I thought was solid. Turns out the foundation was rotten from the start. The current's been cut. Time to rewire everything. Mick's garage apartment smells like motor oil, stale pizza, and the kind of ambition that comes from being 25 and believing the world owes you something. It's not much. A fold-out couch, a mini fridge that sounds like a fading compressor, and electrical work that makes me twitch. But it's better than going back to face Nora's tears and explanations. So she was banging her boss, Mick says, handing me a beer and settling into his gaming chair. Classic. Thanks for the sensitivity, kid. Hey, I'm just saying, happens all the time. Rich guy, fancy office, promises of promotions and shit. He takes a long pull from his beer. What are you gonna do about it? That's the question, isn't it? What am I going to do about it? For the past 3 days, I've been going through the motions. Show up to job sites, run conduit, install fixtures, troubleshoot problems, keep my mouth shut and my head down while my phone buzzes with increasingly frantic messages from Nora. Grant, please call me. We need to talk. I can explain everything. It's not what you think. I made a mistake. Please come home. And my personal favorite. Calder means nothing to me. You're the one I love. Sure, sweetheart. That's why you've been sneaking around for months, lying to my face every night while you plan your future with Mr. Corporate Shark. But Mick's question deserves an answer. What am I going to do about it? I'm thinking about it, I tell him. Well, think faster. She's been calling here too, left like 6 voicemails. I set down my beer and look at Mick. He's a good kid, smart with his hands, quick learner. Been my apprentice for 2 years now, and he's got the makings of a real electrician. But he's also got that young man's hunger for drama, that itch for excitement that comes from watching too many movies and not enough real life. Perfect. You want to help me with something? His eyes light up. Hell yeah! What are we doing? Nora's got a big event tomorrow night. Some corporate thing at the Marriott downtown. Real important to her career. And the Marriott's electrical system is temperamental. Old building, lots of retrofitting over the years, sometimes circuits overload, sometimes breakers trip at the worst possible moment. Mick grins. Accidentally, of course. Of course. The next evening, I'm in the Marriott's basement mechanical room, wearing coveralls and a work shirt with City Electrical Services embroidered on the pocket. Fake company name, but the shirt looks official enough. Mick's upstairs, mingling with the catering crew, keeping an eye on things. The hotel's electrical panel is a thing of beauty. If you're into controlled chaos, decades of additions and modifications have turned it into a maze of circuits and subpanels. Finding the right breaker for the ballroom is easy. Timing it perfectly? That takes finesse. Through my radio earpiece, Mick's voice crackles. She's about to start her presentation. Calder's in the front row looking all smug and shit. Copy that. I wait. Count to 10. Then I flip the breaker. The ballroom plunges into darkness. Emergency lighting kicks in 30 seconds later, but the damage is done. Through the walls, I can hear confused voices, nervous laughter, the sound of a carefully planned event falling apart. I flip the breaker back on, grab my tools, and head for the exit. By the time hotel maintenance arrives, I'm long gone. Mick meets me at his truck, grinning like a kid on Christmas morning. Dude, you should have seen it. Nora was right in the middle of her big presentation when the lights faded. She just stood there frozen, like a deer in headlights. Calder looked pissed. The clients were not happy. Good. That's it? Good? It's a start. Back at Mick's place, I fire up my laptop and do some research. Calder Brandt, Vice President of Client Relations at Pinnacle Events. 42 years old, divorced, lives in a downtown condo that costs more than I make in 2 years. Drives a BMW, belongs to the country club, plays golf every Saturday morning. Most importantly, he's got a reputation. This isn't his first office romance. According to some creative Google searching and a few professional networking sites, he's been through 3 assistants in the past 2 years. All young, all attractive, all mysteriously transferred to other departments after a few months. Nora's just the latest conquest, but she's also my wife, and that makes this personal. I dig deeper, cross-referencing public records with social media posts. Calder's not as smart as he thinks he is. His Instagram is full of photos from expensive restaurants, luxury hotels, weekend getaways. And in the background of several recent shots, I spot a familiar figure. Nora, my wife, smiling and laughing, wearing clothes I've never seen before, jewelry that's definitely not from our anniversary collection. The rage builds slowly, like current through a resistor, steady, controlled, but getting hotter by the minute. My phone buzzes. Text message from an unknown number. Grant, it's V, Nora's friend. We need to talk. V. I remember her from company parties, girls' nights out, weekend shopping trips. Nora's confidant, the one who knows all the secrets and gossip. If anyone has the inside scoop on this whole mess, it's her. I text back. I'm listening. Meet me at Murphy's Bar on 5th Street. 1 hour. Murphy's is the kind of dive where commercial guys go to complain about contractors and drink away the frustration of dealing with incompetent supervisors. Dark wood, dim lighting, and bartenders who mind their own business. V's already there when I arrive, nursing a vodka tonic in a corner booth. She's dressed down, jeans, sweater, minimal makeup, but she still has that polished look that comes from working in corporate America. Grant. She stands, gives me an awkward hug. I'm so sorry about everything. What do you know? She sits back down, takes a long sip of her drink. More than I should, less than you deserve to hear. Try me. Nora's been confused lately. The job at Pinnacle working with Calder, it's gone to her head. She thinks she's destined for bigger things. Bigger things than being married to some blue-collar guy who fixes lights? V winces. She said that? Calder said it, in an email. Nora didn't disagree. Look, I tried to talk sense into her, told her she was making a huge mistake. But she's convinced that Calder's going to leave his wife, that they're going to run the company together, that this is her chance at the life she's always wanted. He's already divorced. What? Calder. He's been divorced for 3 years, so either Nora's lying to you or he's lying to her. V's face goes pale. She said he was in a loveless marriage, that he was waiting for the right time to leave. Sounds like he's feeding her a line. Question is, what's she feeding you? We sit in silence for a moment, the weight of betrayal settling between us. V's been Nora's friend for years, but she's also been played, used as cover, as an alibi, as someone to help maintain the lie. There's something else, V says finally. Something you should know. I'm all ears. Calder's planning to transfer Nora to the Boston office. Big promotion, corner office, significant raise. He told her it's because she's so talented, but it's really because he wants to keep her close and away from prying eyes. Exactly. And Grant? She's planning to ask you to move with her. Fresh start, new city, chance to rebuild your marriage. The irony is perfect. Nora wants to drag me to Boston so she can continue her affair in a new city, probably thinking I'll be so grateful for her forgiveness that I won't ask too many questions. When? Next month. She's been waiting for the right time to tell you. I finish my beer, leave a 20 on the table. Thanks for the heads up, V. What are you going to do? What I do best. Fix the wiring. Back at Mick's place, I spend the night planning. Calder thinks he's smart, manipulating my wife with promises and lies. Nora thinks she's clever, playing both sides while she figures out her next move. But they're both forgetting something important. I'm the guy who keeps the lights on. I understand systems, how they work, how they fail, and most importantly, how to make them fail at exactly the right moment. Time to show them what happens when you cross the wrong electrician. The circuit breaker isn't the kind of bar you'd take your wife to, unless your wife happens to be into stale beer, questionable hygiene, and conversations that start with, "So I told my foreman he could kiss my ass." It's a blue-collar watering hole 2 blocks from the industrial district, where electricians, plumbers, and construction workers gather to vent about their day and plan their pushback against incompetent supervisors. Perfect place for what I have in mind. Calder Brandt doesn't belong here. That much is obvious the moment he walks through the door, checking his phone and looking around like he's afraid of catching something contagious. His suit probably costs more than most of the guys in here make in a month, and his shoes have never seen a construction site. I'm sitting in a corner booth, nursing a beer and watching him scan the room. He spots me, straightens his tie, and walks over with the kind of confidence that comes from thinking you're the smartest guy in the room. Grant. He slides into the booth across from me, doesn't offer to shake hands. Thanks for agreeing to meet. Didn't have much choice. Your message was pretty insistent. I think we need to clear the air about a few things. I take a sip of my beer, study his face. He's got that corporate shark look. Perfectly styled hair, expensive cologne, teeth that have seen more whitening treatments than a Hollywood actor. The kind of guy who's never done an honest day's work in his life, but somehow thinks he's earned the right to look down on people who have. Clear the air about what exactly? About Nora. About this situation we find ourselves in. Situation. I roll the word around in my mouth like it tastes bad. Is that what we're calling it? He leans forward, lowers his voice. Look, I'm not going to insult your intelligence by pretending nothing happened. Nora and I have grown close, very close, but it's not what you think. Really? What is it then? It's business. Nora's incredibly talented and she's been wasted in this small-town market. I'm offering her opportunities she'd never get otherwise. The personal aspect, well, sometimes these things just develop naturally. Naturally. I nod like I'm buying his bullshit. Like a short circuit, if you want to put it that way. Around us, the bar's usual crowd is starting to take notice. Construction workers, electricians, guys who've spent their lives building things with their hands, while people like Calder shuffle papers and take credit. They can smell the corporate stink on him from across the room. So, what do you want from me? I ask. I want to make this easy for everyone involved. He reaches into his jacket, pulls out an envelope. Nora's going to be moving to Boston. Big promotion, corner office, the works. She's going to ask you to come with her, fresh start and all that. And I think it would be better for everyone if you said no. He slides the envelope across the table. It's thick, probably stuffed with cash. What's this? Call it a consulting fee. Enough to help you get back on your feet, maybe start your own electrical business. You're good at what you do, Grant. You could build something real here, something that's yours. I open the envelope. $20,000 in cash, neatly bundled in hundreds. You think you can buy me off? I think I can make this transition easier for everyone. Nora gets the career she deserves, you get the capital to build your own future, and nobody has to get hurt. Nobody has to get hurt. I close the envelope, slide it back across the table. Except me, right? Except the husband who gets thrown away like a burnt-out fuse. His mask slips for just a second, and I see the real Calder Brandt underneath. Cold, calculating, completely without conscience. You're not stupid, Grant. You know this marriage is over. Nora's outgrown you. She needs someone who can match her ambition, someone who understands the world she wants to be part of. Someone like you. Someone like me. The bar's gotten quieter. Conversations have stopped, and I can feel eyes on us. These guys know me, know I'm solid, know I don't start trouble unless trouble finds me first. Tell me something, Calder. Does Nora know you're here? This is between us. That's what I thought. I lean back, take another sip of my beer. See, here's the thing about electrical work. It's all about understanding systems. How current flows, where it goes, what happens when you interrupt the circuit. I'm not sure I follow. You've been running current through my marriage for months now, stealing power, redirecting the flow, thinking you're so smart that nobody would notice. His eyes narrow. What's your point? My point is that I'm the guy who installed the original wiring. I know every connection, every junction box, every potential failure point. I pull out my phone, set it on the table between us. The recording app is already running. And right now, you're about to find out what happens when the system overloads. He stares at the phone, understanding dawning in his eyes. You're recording this? Every word, your generous offer, your explanation of how my wife has outgrown me, your casual assumption that you can buy your way out of any problem. You snake. Now we're getting somewhere. I grin, feeling the first real satisfaction I've had in weeks. Tell me more about how Nora deserves better than some blue-collar guy who fixes lights. Turn that off. Or what? You'll fire her? Pretty sure HR would be interested in hearing about your recruitment techniques. The bar's quiet now. 20 guys, all of them working stiffs who've been shit on by corporate types their whole lives, all of them watching Calder sweat. He reaches for the phone. I grab his wrist, squeeze just hard enough to make my point. I wouldn't. You don't understand what you're dealing with here, he hisses. I have connections, influence. I can make your life very difficult. My life's already difficult. My wife's been sleeping with her boss for months while lying to my face every night. How much worse could it get? One of the regulars, Tommy, a crane operator with arms like tree trunks, stands up from the bar. Everything okay over there, Grant? Just fine, Tommy. Mr. Brandt here was just explaining how the corporate world works. Calder looks around the bar, finally realizing he's in hostile territory. These aren't his people. These aren't guys he can intimidate with lawyers and connections. These are guys who settle things the old-fashioned way. "I should go," he says, standing up. "You should." I stop the recording, pocket my phone. "But Calder? This isn't over. Not by a long shot." He heads for the door, but I'm not done yet. "Hey, Calder." He turns back. "You might want to get your car checked. Electrical problems can be dangerous." His face goes white, and he practically runs for the exit. Tommy walks over, slides into the booth Calder just vacated. "Friend of yours?" "My wife's boss. And her boyfriend." "Ah." Tommy signals the bartender for another round. "What are you going to do about it?" "What would you do?" "Me? I'd make sure he understood that some things ain't for sale." The bartender brings our beers, and Tommy raises his glass. "To teaching rich boys about consequences." I'll drink to that. But as I watch Calder's BMW pull out of the parking lot, I'm already thinking about the next phase of my plan. The recording's good, but it's not enough. Not nearly enough. Time to get creative. Outside, Mick's waiting in his truck, engine running. "How'd it go?" "Better than expected. You get everything set up?" "Oh yeah. His car's gonna be real interesting to drive home." I climb into the passenger seat and we follow Calder's BMW at a distance. 3 blocks from the bar, his car starts making unhappy noises. By the time he reaches the first red light, smoke is pouring from under the hood. "Sugar in the gas tank?" I ask. "Nah, that's amateur hour. I pulled a few spark plug wires, loosened the battery connections, and may have accidentally damaged a coolant hose." Accidentally. Totally accidentally. Calder's BMW fades in the middle of the intersection, steam rising from the engine bay. Through the windshield, I can see him pounding on the steering wheel in frustration. "Think he'll figure out it was us?" "Oh, he'll know, but he can't prove anything, and more importantly, he can't fix it himself." My phone buzzes. Text message from Nora. "Calder told me you two talked. We need to discuss this like adults." I show the message to Mick. "You gonna answer?" "Eventually. But first, I think it's time to have a conversation with HR." As we drive away, leaving Calder stranded with his smoking BMW, I can't help but smile. The current's flowing exactly where I want it to go. And we're just getting started. Pinnacle Events occupies 3 floors of a glass tower downtown, the kind of building where image matters more than substance, and the elevators play jazz music to keep the corporate drones calm. I've done electrical work in buildings like this before. Always at night, always invisible, always treated like part of the furniture. Today, I'm walking in the front door wearing my best shirt and carrying a briefcase full of evidence. Ms. Patricia Barnum, Director of Human Resources, is exactly what you'd expect from someone whose job is managing corporate liability. Mid-50s, steel gray hair, a handshake that could crack walnuts, and eyes that miss nothing. Her office is all neutral colors and motivational posters, the kind of space designed to make you feel simultaneously comfortable and intimidated. "Mr. Hollister." She gestures to the chair across from her desk. "Thank you for coming in. I understand you have some concerns about your wife's work environment." "You could say that." I open my briefcase, pull out a manila folder thick with printouts, email exchanges, text messages, hotel receipts, restaurant bills, months of evidence documenting Nora and Calder's affair. "I'm not sure this is the appropriate venue for marital counseling," Ms. Barnum says, but she's already reaching for the folder. "It is when the affair involves harassment, abuse of power, and misuse of company resources." That gets her attention. She opens the folder, starts reading. Her expression doesn't change, but I can see the calculations happening behind her eyes. Liability, exposure, potential lawsuits. "Where did you obtain these materials?" "My wife's laptop syncs with her phone. She forgot to log out." "I see." She continues reading, occasionally making notes on a legal pad. "And you're bringing this to me because Calder Brandt is using his position to coerce female employees into relationships because he's promising promotions and career advancement in exchange for personal favors. Because this isn't the first time. She looks up. What do you mean? I pull out another folder, this one containing information I've gathered about Calder's previous relationships with subordinates. Jessica Morrison, transferred to the Atlanta office after 6 months. Sarah Chen resigned suddenly after a year. Amanda Foster moved to accounting after what HR described as personality conflicts with her supervisor. How do you know about these cases? Public records, LinkedIn profiles, a few phone calls to former employees who were happy to share their experiences once they knew they weren't alone. Ms. Barnum sets down the folder, leans back in her chair. She's not surprised by any of this, which tells me she's been aware of Calder's pattern for a while. What is it you want, Mr. Hollister? I want justice. I want Calder held accountable for his actions, and I want my wife to understand the consequences of her choices. This is a very serious accusation. It's a very serious situation. She picks up her phone, dials an extension. Security? I need you to escort Mr. Calder Brandt to conference room B immediately. No, he doesn't have a choice. 20 minutes later, Calder walks into the conference room, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. He's traded his usual swagger for nervous energy, and when he sees me sitting next to Ms. Barnum, his face goes pale. What's he doing here? Mr. Hollister has brought some concerning information to my attention, Ms. Barnum says. Information that requires immediate investigation. She slides the folder across the table. Calder opens it, scans the first few pages, and I watch his career implode in real time. This is a private matter between consenting adults. Is it? Ms. Barnum pulls out a printed email. Because this message suggests you promised Ms. Hollister a promotion to the Boston office in exchange for her continued participation in your relationship. That's not... It's taken out of context. What context would make it appropriate for a supervisor to promise career advancement contingent on personal intimacy? Calder looks at me with pure hatred. You vindictive snake. Mr. Brandt? Ms. Barnum's voice could freeze water. I suggest you focus on the matter at hand rather than personal attacks. This is entrapment. He's trying to destroy my career because his marriage failed. Your relationship with his wife is what destroyed his marriage. Your abuse of your position is what's destroying your career. The meeting lasts another hour, but the outcome is never in doubt. Calder's suspended pending a full investigation. His access to company systems is revoked. Security escorts him from the building with a cardboard box containing his personal effects. As I leave the Pinnacle building, I see him standing on the sidewalk, holding his box and looking lost. The BMW's still in the shop. Turns out the damage was more extensive than Mick initially thought, so he's waiting for a cab. I walk over, stand next to him. Rough day? Go to hell. Already been there. It's called being married to someone who lies to your face every night while planning her exit strategy. He sets down the box, turns to face me. For a moment, I think he might actually throw a punch. But Calder's not a fighter. He's a manipulator, a user, someone who gets what he wants through charm and intimidation. This isn't over, he says. You're right. It's not. My phone buzzes. Text message from Nora. HR called. They want to see me first thing Monday morning. What did you do? I show the message to Calder. Looks like your girlfriend's about to learn about consequences too. The cab arrives, and Calder climbs in without another word. As it drives away, I call Mick. How's our other project coming along? Almost ready. You sure about this? Never been more sure of anything in my life. That evening, I'm back at the circuit breaker, celebrating with Tommy and the usual crowd. Word's already spread about what happened at Pinnacle. This is a small city, and news travels fast in the trades. So what's next? Tommy asks. The grand finale. Which is? I pull out my phone. Show him the text I just sent to both Nora and Calder. Meet me at Riverside Park tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Time to settle this once and for all. You sure that's smart? Probably not, but it's going to be satisfying. My phone rings. Nora's name on the caller ID. Hello, sweetheart. Grant, please. We need to talk about this like rational adults. Tomorrow night, Riverside Park, 8 o'clock. I don't understand why you're doing this, why you're trying to destroy everything we built together. I'm not destroying anything, Nora. I'm just making sure everyone sees what was already broken. I hang up, order another beer. Tomorrow night, under the lights of the Riverside Festival, with half the city watching, I'm going to show Nora and Calder what happens when you cross the wrong electrician. The current's been building for weeks now, pressure increasing, voltage rising, everything heading toward one inevitable moment. Time to flip the switch and watch it all burn. The Riverside Festival happens every September, a week-long celebration of our little city's blue-collar heritage. Food trucks, live music, craft booths, and a beer tent that does more business than the rest of the vendors combined. Tonight's the final night, which means fireworks over the river and a crowd big enough that everyone will see what's about to happen. Perfect. I'm standing near the main stage, watching families enjoy cotton candy and overpriced carnival games, when I spot Nora walking through the crowd. She's dressed carefully, not too formal, not too casual, the kind of outfit designed to make her look reasonable and sympathetic. She's probably been practicing her apology, rehearsing her explanation, preparing for the conversation that's going to save her marriage. Too bad I'm not interested in being saved. Grant. She approaches cautiously, like I might bolt if she moves too fast. Thank you for agreeing to meet. Wouldn't miss it. Where's Calder? He'll be along. She looks around nervously, taking in the crowd, the festival atmosphere, the dozens of people within earshot. Maybe we should go somewhere more private. This is perfect. Public places keep everyone honest. What's that supposed to mean? Before I can answer, Calder appears through the crowd. He's traded his usual corporate uniform for jeans and a polo shirt, probably thinking it makes him look more relatable. It doesn't. He still has that predatory look, that sense of entitlement that comes from a lifetime of taking what he wants without consequences. Grant. He nods, doesn't offer to shake hands. Nora. Calder. She moves slightly closer to him, an unconscious gesture that tells me everything I need to know about where her loyalties lie. So, I say, looking between them. Here we are, the 3 points of our little triangle, finally together in public. Grant, please, Nora starts. This doesn't have to be ugly. Ugly? I laugh, and a few nearby families glance our way. Sweetheart, ugly was you lying to my face for months while you slept with your boss. This is just the cleanup. Her face flushes red. Keep your voice down. Why? Embarrassed? Worried people might find out what kind of person you really are? Calder steps forward. That's enough. We came here to discuss this rationally. Rationally. I nod toward the main stage, where a local band is setting up their equipment. You know what's rational, Calder? The fact that you've been using your position to manipulate female employees for years. The fact that you promised my wife a promotion in exchange for favors. The fact that you're about to lose everything. The HR investigation will clear me. Will it? Because I've been busy this week, talking to your former victims, documenting patterns of behavior, building a case that even Pinnacle's lawyers won't be able to ignore. His confidence wavers slightly. What are you talking about? I pull out my phone, scroll to a video file. Jessica Morrison sends her regards. So does Sarah Chen. Turns out they've been waiting years for someone to give them a platform to tell their stories. You snake. Now, we're in public. Wouldn't want people to see your true colors. The crowd's starting to notice us now. 3 adults having an increasingly heated conversation near the main stage, voices rising, body language screaming conflict. In a small city, drama like this spreads fast. Grant, Nora tries again, her voice pleading. I know I hurt you. I know I made mistakes. But we can work through this. We can rebuild. Rebuild? I stare at her, amazed by her audacity. You mean like how you were planning to rebuild in Boston? With Calder? In your corner office that you earned on your back? She slaps me, hard. The sound echoes across the immediate area, and conversations stop as people turn to stare. You bastard. There she is, the real Nora. Not the sweet, apologetic wife, but the woman who's been playing me for a fool while she climbs the corporate ladder one calculated favor at a time. Stop it, Calder snaps. You're making a scene. Am I? Good. I raise my voice, addressing the growing crowd of onlookers. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet my wife Nora and her boss Calder Brandt. They've been having an affair for months, using company resources and abusing power dynamics to satisfy their personal desires. Grant, no, Nora whispers, but it's too late. You see, Calder here has a pattern. He targets female employees, promises them career advancement, then discards them when he gets bored. My wife thought she was special, thought she was different. Turns out she was just the latest conquest. The crowd's getting bigger now, drawn by the spectacle. I recognize faces from job sites, from the circuit breaker, from around town. These are my people, working-class folks who understand loyalty and betrayal. That's enough, Calder says, grabbing my arm. I shake him off. Don't touch me. This is harassment. I'm calling the police. Go ahead. I'm sure they'd love to hear about your business practices. He pulls out his phone, starts dialing. I grab it, toss it into the crowd. Someone catches it, examines it like it's a foreign object, then deliberately drops it on the ground. Oops. Calder lunges at me. I sidestep, grab his shirt, and use his momentum to send him stumbling into a nearby trash can. He goes down hard, his polo shirt tearing, his carefully styled hair mussed. The crowd loves it. Cheers and laughter ripple through the gathering spectators. Stay down, Calder. You're embarrassing yourself. He gets up, face red with humiliation and rage. You're going to pay for this. Am I? With what? Your job's gone, your reputation's destroyed, and your girlfriend's about to find out what happens when the corporate ladder gets pulled out from under her. I turn to Nora, who's standing frozen in the middle of the circle of onlookers. Tell them, sweetheart. Tell everyone how you earned your promotion. Tell them about the hotel rooms and the business trips and the lies you told your husband every single night. I won't do this, she says, backing away. You already did it. I'm just making sure everyone knows. She turns and runs, pushing through the crowd toward the parking area. Some of the spectators follow her, not wanting to miss the next act of the drama. Calder gets to his feet, brushes dirt off his shirt. This isn't over. Yes, it is. I grab him by the collar, pull him close enough that only he can hear what I'm saying. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to disappear. Leave town, find another job, start over somewhere else. Because if I see you again, if you contact my wife again, if you even think about trying to salvage your career here, I will make your life a living hell. You can't. I can. I know this city, these people, these systems. I can make sure you never work again, never feel safe again, never have a moment's peace. Do you understand me? He nods, fear finally replacing arrogance in his eyes. I release him, step back. Good. Now get out of my sight. He stumbles away through the crowd, leaving me standing alone in the circle of spectators. For a moment, nobody speaks. Then Tommy's voice cuts through the silence. About damn time somebody stood up to those corporate assholes. The crowd erupts in cheers and applause. People clap me on the back, shake my hand, offer to buy me drinks. These are my neighbors, my colleagues, my community. They understand what just happened here, and they approve. As the fireworks begin over the river, painting the sky in brilliant colors, I walk back toward the parking area. My truck's where I left it, and Mick's leaning against the tailgate with a beer in his hand. How'd it go? Better than expected. Nora? Gone, probably packing right now. Calder? Also gone. Permanently, if he's smart. Mick hands me a beer, and we watch the fireworks explode overhead. Each burst of light reflects off the river, creating double images that shimmer and fade. So what now? Now? Now I get back to work. Fix what's broken, install what's needed, keep the lights on for people who appreciate it. And Nora? I take a long pull of beer, consider the question. Nora made her choice. She chose ambition over loyalty, lies over truth, corporate success over the life we built together. Now she gets to live with the consequences. You think she'll try to come back? Doesn't matter. The current's been cut. There's no going back now. As we drive away from the festival, I can see people still talking about what happened, still processing the drama they just witnessed. By tomorrow, the whole city will know the story. Nora and Calder will be legends, cautionary tales about what happens when you betray the wrong person. I pull into Mick's driveway, but I don't get out of the truck immediately. Instead, I sit there for a moment, thinking about the past few weeks, about everything that's happened, about the man I've become. 3 months ago, I was a faithful husband, a reliable employee, someone who kept his head down and did his job. Tonight, I'm something different, something harder, something that doesn't forgive or forget or give second chances to people who don't deserve them. Maybe that makes me the villain in this story. Maybe I should have been the bigger man, should have forgiven Nora's betrayal, should have walked away quietly and let them have their victory. But I'm not built that way. I'm an electrician. When I see a problem in the system, I fix it. When I find faulty wiring, I replace it. When someone tries to steal power that doesn't belong to them, I cut them off. That's what I did tonight. I cut them off, and for the first time in months, the current's running clean.